And I'm back with more Persona 4 Golden. I'm going here for a reason. Check this out. Hello. Oh man, 40 SP. I like that. That's huge. And that was free. It's just there. All right.
Oh, a complex. That's it? That's all I have to go on? You're working me to the stuffing. Oh well, then I'll open my nose up real wide and sniff real hard. Oh, I think I found something. It feels like our target. Follow me!
Is it just me, or does the fog here seem kinda different?
My glasses are fogging up.
Man, it's hot in here. This place is like a...
Come here, pussycat.
Oh, such well-defined pecs.
There's no need to be scared. Now just relax.
Wait a sec, I don't want to go.
Yosuke, you turd.
Is Kanji-kun really here, Teddy?
The nose knows.
Bleh.
We're really going in here? I can already feel the sweat rolling down my back.
That's because it's so hot.
So yeah, you can already tell where this is going. Anyway, so I thought of stuff to talk about. Yay! The Persona loop. This place is really steamy. So why is it I get a chill down my fuzzy spine? I think I got a cold. My nose is totally useless too. So, I've probably talked about this over and over again, but it's... Persona has changed, and especially knowing that I've watched footage of the other SMT games in Persona, I'm actually... I've went through Persona 1 and Persona 2. I've also done a lot of the SMT stuff. So this is a good way to talk about those experiences and see what's going on here. Also, here's Yukiko's Persona, Fire, and Healing. Okay. So SMT started. Well, things are starting badly. Great.
Been ambushed by 3 enemies. Don't cry.
Ow! Fuck. So SMT started very, very, very basically. If you've ever played any of the old school, if you ever played any like old school dungeon crawler or anything like NES or even SNES related, you kind of know what you're in for with those.
That was cool, Yosuke.
I found the writing of the old SMT games to be very basic and
2 enemies left.
not much to write home about, but fairly reminiscent of, you know, what 3, 4, and 5 are. Very barren worlds, talking about gods and gods, devils and demons and goddesses and all that junk and whatever. You know, pretty basic stuff. there's not much there. You'll see a lot of this repeating imagery and whatnot in first-person view and all that. Persona switched to talking more about teenagers and going through their struggles and whatever. So that stuff was there even from the beginning. Though obviously they had to redo it for the PSP release because they made some weird choices, like changing
I smell 2 enemies. Beat them up.
some of the characters' names and all that stuff, and it just didn't seem to fit
2
anymore.
enemies
I
left.
think they turned one of the characters black in the American version, and it just didn't work.
This'll be a piece of cake for Yuki-chan.
And again, a PSP game is going to be different from a PS1 game, but I found
Going down.
1 enemy. Fight.
the
Fight.
games
fight.
to be slow-ish. Persona 2 is a little better in that regard, but it's still kind of rough around the edges a bit. But I did like kind of where the characters were going and what they were doing. The rumor system is a pretty neat idea. Though I don't know if they did enough. I'm sure they did a lot with it. And again, I was just basing it off of footage. I had never played the game, so it's easier to dig into a game system when you're playing it. Because I started SMT and whatnot with 3, you know. And when I say SMT, I'm talking SMT and Persona. Because Persona 3 was the first one I played and invested in. So going back and trying to play them and whatever is, you know, a work in progress. Because not every game in the series is going to be there. Oh, so you can't hit these guys with physical attacks. So you're going to need wind. I'm going to try this. Didn't think so. But Persona 3 was the first to do what I would consider the recent Persona game loop, in where they took the visual novel and dating sim aspects. Oh god, check this out.
Here's our chance. Let's
So yeah, Galactic Punt. But again, a lot of those games, and even SMT nowadays, are a lot like, you know, straightforward, fight the dudes, do the thing, get the thing, go do the thing, you know. They're straightforward JRPGs, and Persona 5 Strikers in the same way.
It seems strong. Yikes.
Persona.
2 enemies dead.
We're not doing it. Oh.
It got back up. Hurry and beat it.
It's not going down.
2 enemies. Charge through them.
Someone finish it off.
But again, it's more to do with oh hey, nice. To me, it's Final Fantasy kind of sets the tone, where Final Fantasy doesn't spend a lot of time in cutscenes. Like, yeah, they are longer, but more often than not, they're like 5 to 10 minutes or whatever. Persona, you're liable to spend 15 to 20 minutes, maybe even longer. Or we've spent hours doing side stuff.
3 enemies. Let's get
I think people aren't used to that, or if you're, say if you're starting from scratch and you've never played a Persona game, you're not as familiar with this style from 3 to 5. And I think people who are looking for an action game or just a straightforward RPG are not as happy with that arrangement. You know, some people are. I've heard Yahtzee Croshaw from Zero Punctuation. He would say Persona works because of that mix. And I might have gone over that before. But everybody's different.
2 enemies.
Some people like the gameplay stuff, some people like the story
2
stuff.
enemies left.
I mean, if the gameplay wasn't solid, because look at how snappy this is. Like, if this were a slower JRPG, like Persona 1 and Persona 2 were slow. They just were, right? Every subsequent game has gotten pretty quick. I'd say starting with, like, Nocturne, they got quicker because they were on the PS2. Those PS1 games, the NES games, again, they were made on the cheap and made on a budget. I'm not saying these aren't, but SMT Persona games, you know, PS2 games, they just had a lot better to work with. Dragon Quest is in the same kind of vein because they worked on a lot of faster speed too, because a lot of the older Dragon Quest games are slow too. Again, it's not saying that there's... I'm not saying that I don't like those games. I'm saying it's way easier to get into the JRPG fighting loop when the games are quicker like this. I was watching the footage of Persona 1 and Persona 2, and yeah, they were pretty goddamn slow, I'm not gonna lie. It didn't make for an engaging experience and didn't make for a very exciting RPG experience. Now, you add on the Persona 3... You add in the Persona 3 fighting or dating sim stuff to a slow RPG. Ugh.
There's one enemy. Smash it.
I would not like that at all. Oh. Ow, you suck.
Counting on you. Persona! It's not going down.
Shit. One enemy. Fight, fight, fight.
Yikes, it's tough. Persona! There!
But at the same time, even if you have a game like a Persona 5, which is about the best you're going to get, and you're still not really into the dating sim, social sim character aspect of it, then I mean, again, every game is different and everybody's going to feel different and not everybody's going to respond to the games the same way. But it is a big difference. It is a big difference to go, alright, I don't really respond well to this whole, they're playing at they're playing at teenage problems. They're playing at real issues, yes, but they're also dealing with a lot of people going through stuff I don't really care about. I don't really care about the social links and whatever, and if you're just in there for the combat, like, well, there's SMT for that. And sure, one of the big issues that Persona faces is they spend a lot of time doing the intros. And even in Persona 4, the intros took a while.
Go, Sensei! You knocked it down! 2 enemies left!
And I'm not excusing the intro, because it took 4 or 5 extra episodes to do the thing. But I'm still apt to give Persona their due, more so than other people, I think. Oh boy, this is gonna be good. Look at this. But again, if you're not up on Persona or S&T, you're starting slow, and you're going, okay, I've never played this. What is this 4 to 5 hour bullshit? Why am I into this? Why are people into this? Where is the combat? There are a lot of people, streamers, who said, where's the combat? What am I doing? Where's the combat? Give me the fucking combat. I don't like doing this social stuff. I don't, like, the characters are good and, you know, there's cool stuff here, but it's like, ah! Final Fantasy doesn't spend as much time
Yosuke's completely out of it.
forcing the social element on you.
One enemy. Fight, fight, fight.
So there's that. Also, look at that money.
I gotta keep up my training.
Another level for me!
That was good.
I leveled up.
So again,
Did I level up?
I overstate how much I love Persona, because it's basically the game franchise that I want Final Fantasy to be. Because Final Fantasy has solidly been in the action franchise they're trying to be, because they are a mainstream franchise, but there's nothing wrong with the turn-based battles and all of
I
that.
smell 4 enemies. Show them your stuff.
And I also think the anime aesthetic
GH-han's dizzy.
is something I enjoy. Dude!
How dare you? Oh, Sensei's back
fucked,
on his
dude.
feet.
Anyway. But I also understand not everybody's going to respond to that. And people are like, well, I'm kind of sick of this whole, why are you spending 5 hours with these characters? I just want to get back to the combat.
4
'Cause you
enemies.
need
gotta
downtime.
hang in there.
Protect me, Tomoe.
But Persona really forces the
3 enemies to
downtime
beat.
on
Right,
you.
GH-han?
But they want you to do a life sim. They will give you choices after a while. But there are times, like in the main storyline, where they're also like, we need you to focus on the story bit so you can get to the next dungeon. That's what we were doing. And even people who like Persona are like, well, why am I not getting the choice to go talk to my friends? Why am I not getting anything else that I want to do? Why am I forced to go to sleep? You know, that sort of thing. And that's also fair.
Here I
So I'm not saying Persona is without problems.
2 enemies. Charge through them.
That's some thick skin.
Yikes, it's tough.
But I also think this is one of those situations where they are making you work for a game experience. Because it's not the easiest thing to develop a game and make it an interesting... Because some people like the 10 to 20 hour experience. Some people like a game that only lasts 5 hours. This is 100 hours. And I get that. This is 100 hours or more, depending on how long it's going to take me to do the thing. Not everybody wants to invest in that. Not everybody wants to watch that. Not everybody is used to that. And a lot of games are 100 hours without having to be
I smell 4 enemies. Show them
like
your
this.
stuff.
Would you stop it with the criticals? God. So I think there's a
Sensei's back on his
balance.
feet.
There's a balance there.
Yuki-chan's seriously out to lunch.
So it's a balancing act that not everybody is fond of.
You're doing
But again,
great.
that's
Yeah,
where
keep going.
Persona, that's where SMT comes in. That's where Devil Survivor comes in. That's where other games come in to bridge the gap. Because yes, Persona has now become the de facto popular franchise
There's still 3.
for many reasons. Whether it's because of the more anime-ish aesthetic, this is more like playing a slice of life anime or a tragic shonen or something. In the case of Persona 3, or just a straightforward, crime thriller kind of thing like in Persona 5. They've honed things to a finer edge, but they still have issues in pacing and whatnot. But not everybody is going to respond to what this game has to offer. But that's the same thing. Not everybody's going to respond to what Final Fantasy's offering, whether it's the old school, whether it's the middle era, whether it's the 12, 13, 15, or even the recent ones. Well, that didn't work. So it is a balancing act, because what sells versus what is effective. If it was up to me, I think Persona would be the biggest franchise around, and Final Fantasy would start taking a dip in sales and whatever, because that would prove to us that, you know, there's still a market. However, that is not how things work. And again, that seems very short-sighted, of course. But bear that in mind. This is what I've wanted games to be. This is my style of game because I grew up on it. I grew up on this. I grew up on Final Fantasy 6 through 10 and whatever. But some people want that really, really tough old-school experience. That's why stuff like Dark Souls exists. But again, Dark Souls is different. You want a harsh experience, but you want something like this, you go with SMT. But if you want something to take a little bit more time and dig into characters, and they might not always be your cup of tea, but if you want a character-specific experience, more anime-style experience, you go for this. And I think that's where Atlus benefits in having two different games. Provided I don't think the fan bases work together, which is kind of awkward because they're made by the same company. You would think that more people would just love everything that they're offering, but no. But, you know, that's a different discussion.
Amazing, Sensei! You beat 2 of them! Counting on you! Persona!
But again, I think the more success a thing has, the more you're gonna breed. Okay, some people aren't gonna like it, and some people are just gonna. Oh man!
Yuki-chan,
damn it!
Run away! Good work, Sensei. That's 1 so far.
Damn, it's not going down.
And that's totally fair.
Yikes, it's tough.
Because if you wanted a different type of experience, you would play a different type of game. But it behooves the company to have those types of experiences. And again, Square has that too. They don't do the same type of games either. They are comfortable turning Final Fantasy into something way, way, way different than it used to be, because there are many people who are doing different things. Persona, SMT, is different now than it was 35 years ago. But it still, at its core, kind of has an identity. Persona changed its identity to find better success. So it's a balancing act of finding, like, who is going to resonate with what versus, like, keeping the spirit of what your game franchise is. And if it's not the same franchise in certain ways, you're better off just not having that be the same thing. Having a different name altogether. Some franchises do that better than others. You know, Kingdom Hearts is a totally different thing than a Final Fantasy, but it really kind of started as, hey, the Final Fantasy guys are playing Disney! Then we got Bravely Default, which is basically, this is what Final Fantasy used to be, but in a different way, and we're doing that. So, there are different types of game experiences for everybody, and if you're coming into a JRPG, this is not the definitive. That's what I don't want to get into, is there is no definitive great RPG or JRPG or whatever. Some people like Ys, some people like Persona, some people like Final Fantasy, some people like Secret of Mana, even though I've said I wasn't a big fan anymore. Some people like Tales. Some people like Trails. Some people like Fire Emblem if they want the strategy RPG element. Whatever you want to play, you can like. It's about how do you explain to somebody, well, okay, if I don't like it, well, am I going to like it? If they don't like it, this is the type of game, this gameplay loop, you're going to be doing this sort of thing 6 to 7 to 10 times. Go to a dungeon, do the social links. Go to the dungeon, do the social links. Go to this dungeon, take a break, do the social links. If that's not your type of game, these games, 3, 4, and 5, are not going to be your cup of tea. It doesn't matter how well designed they are, how good the characters are. But that's the point. They're going to try and make a game for as many people as they can, but they're not going to make a game for everybody. So, that's something I see on Reddit all the time is, well, if I like it, I don't think I like this game. Is it going to get any better? Never say that. Because after about 5 or 10 hours, you know what a game is going to be, right? Maybe the story will get better, maybe the gameplay will start to fit a little bit better. But if you know you don't like a game within 5 to 10 hours, you're not going to like it within 10 or 15 or 20 or 30. God forbid 100, right? More often than not, your mind is not going to turn around. Sure, maybe an ending could be so fucking spectacular that a game finally makes sense. You don't want to slog through that to find out. That's why the 3-episode rule in anime exists, or the 3-episode rule in a show on the TV exists. If you're not a fan of this, you could at least say you tried, and then you could move on to something else. The Persona loop exists because it is a tried method of the last 3 games, and they have succeeded tenfold because Persona 5 exploded. And now that this game is getting some popularity again, we can really see that it started with 3, it started with 4. I'm not saying they should turn Persona 1 and Persona 2 into these experiences, because they were not these. But that's totally fine. They're different experiences for different people. Anyway, cutscene!
There he is!
Oh.
Kanji!
Oh, my, thank you for your undivided attention. At last, I've penetrated the facility. These images are coming to you live from inside this steamy paradise. But I've yet to have any charming encounters. Could this hot fog be the cause? It's like steam rising from sweat. My body's tingling with excitement.
Crap, this is so wrong in so many ways.
I remember it being kinda like this on Yukiko's show, too.
Kinda.
Oh, it wasn't like this.
No, it's totally not wrong.
Those voices again. Wait,
I totally wasn't
Are they
wearing
louder this time?
lacy unmentionables.
These voices. I was wondering whose they could be since it's only the victim in here. Is it the people watching outside?
you mean everybody who's watching the Midnight Channel? They're reacting to the show? Yikes! If people are watching Kanji-kun now, he's gonna be a legend in a way he never intended.
Well, it's really his shadow, not him. But normal people won't know that.
The shadow's getting really restless.
That elusive thing I truly yearn for. Will I finally find it here? Well then, onward and deeper to reach further realms of romance. Let's get going, damn it!
Ugh.
Kanji-kun!
That was his other self. It's trying to reveal his hidden feelings. It seems much worse than that time with Yuki-chan's shadow. At this rate, it might end up getting bare naked.
Boo!
Bare naked?
Oh man, here it comes.
Was I supposed to laugh?
No, you were not. That was perfect. Anyway, I really should be buying the go homes more. I got 4. I'm good. Let's go. I got monies. I got monies. All right, so 17,000 personas. Oh damn. Ooh, shit. What level am I at? 18. Let's do this. Huh?
Welcome to... Oh. What is this? I see. Welcome to the Velvet Room.
Okay. Okay. Weird. Alright. So, fusing personas. Yeah, what's the fuck? Justice. Cool. Skill change. Level. So at this point, I'm just kind of going with what I've got here. So, well, that ain't happening. It's worth a shot. Roll 18. So. Alright. Yay! Okay. Arm chopper. Okay, so this is level 3. Cod is nice. I can get it. Yay! I got it. Okay. I don't want to get rid of Ame no Uzume. Oh. I can work with this though. Yeah. Yeah, I can work with this. Man, I get a lot of stuff for that. Okay. We don't need... Growth 1 is important. Look at that. Dodge Ice is fun. Okay. What? Uh-oh. Oh. Is this a good or a bad thing? Oh, this is good. I leveled up even more. Nice. I went from a level 16 persona to a level 22. Nice. Or a level 23, excuse me. Well, that worked out in a strange way. Matador, oh dear. So that guy was a boss in SMT3, and he is memorable to say the least. But yes, every so often you'll have mess ups by Igor, and it could do okay or it could end up bad. Jeez. See what I mean? You need a lot. Even for such a minuscule amount of healing. If I hadn't have gotten that rare stuff. But see, now I can go straight forward into the rest of the dungeon without spending another day off. So that's going to help. It is going to get less expensive the more of those social links I do. But everybody's fully healed, and I'm 3 levels into Kanji's dungeon, with some new personas to boot. Alright, cool. So, that'll do for me, and I'll see you guys next time.